Hello everybody, this is Lara with your daily update for Bitcoin, Ethereum and XRP. Bitcoin's moving higher again today. It didn't manage to close above resistance yesterday at 35,000. Let's see if it can today. Identified resistance overhead 35,000, and above that we have to look at the weekly time frame. If we can close above resistance at 35,000, there's a bit of space above until next resistance, which is about 48,000. For the last several sessions, Bitcoin's been in a parabolic growth curve, and I expect this is probably going to end with quite a lot of strength. I'm looking for it to end with a strong upward day, with a strong increase in range and strong push from volume. When this parabolic growth curve has found its end, I expect a reaction for a deep, sharp pullback, which may actually be fairly time-consuming. That's normal behaviour for this market. Yesterday's session completed with a further increase in volume beyond previous sessions. Volume is strongest yesterday, stronger than it's been for a long time. This is a very, very bullish volume profile for Bitcoin. ADX still indicates there's an upward trend, and it's still quite a long way from as extreme as it can get for this market. RSI is extremely overbought, but it does not yet exhibit any bearish divergence, and I will expect it to exhibit bearish divergence before a deep pullback begins. So there's still a ways to go before this has a look normal for a high for Bitcoin. Money flow is only just beginning to reach into overbought, so there's a ways to go before this one also reaches as extreme as it can get when this market has a strong bullish run. And ATR is showing a strong increase with upward movement. Volatility is finally returning to the market. So using classic technical analysis to try and identify where this parabolic growth may end, we'll use resistance overhead, and importantly, I'm going to be looking for a bearish candlestick reversal pattern to indicate the end of this parabolic growth curve and the start of the resulting deep pullback. But I expect the deep pullback is probably not going to make lows below 11th of September 2023. I have a lot more confidence now that this low is most likely to be maintained for years to come, because this parabolic growth that we see in the recent days for Bitcoin is a feature of a bullish run and not a feature of a bear market rally. On the daily chart for Ethereum, let's start to have a look at some targets for this first wave up. Ethereum's wave count is very bullish. If you want to see higher time frames, you'll have to look back at my previous daily posts for this. Let's look at where this first wave at minute degree within a third wave at minor degree, which is also a third within a third wave at intermediate and primary and cycle degree. So this is a very, very bullish wave count for Ethereum. Now within minute wave 1, we may have minuet 1, 2, 3 and 4 may be over at today's low so far. Now if this low moves any further downward, then this target's going to need to be recalculated. But if the low for the current session, 25th of October, remains intact at 1760.54, then this is my target for a first wave to end for Ethereum. Now you can only calculate a first wave target when you've got the third and the fourth waves within the impulse complete, because you have to use the ratio between 1, 3 and 5 to calculate your target, and you can't calculate a target for 5 until you know the lengths of 1 and 3 and the starting point for 5. So we may have that information now. So today I may be able to calculate the target for you. Here, minuet wave 3 was just 1.89 longer than 2.618 times the length of minuet wave 1, a fairly common ratio for a fifth wave, and I'll use this for Ethereum, is for the fifth wave to reach 0.618 the length of the third wave. That would be achieved at 1953. So that's my target for the first wave for Ethereum to end. Ethereum does exhibit pretty extreme Fibonacci ratios, but not as extreme as Bitcoin. So I'm going to use this 0.618 ratio for this target for a few reasons. Firstly, it's a fifth wave to end a first wave 1 degree higher, not a fifth wave to end a third wave 1 degree higher. The context and position is important. When we get into a fifth wave to end these third waves, I won't be using ratios as small as 0.618. Now the second reason is If the fifth wave was going to reach as long as the third wave or longer, I think the target would be too high. So for now, let's look at 1953. If price reaches this target and just keeps on rising, I'll then calculate a higher target using a larger Fibonacci ratio. But for now, that's going to be my target for the first wave. When minute wave 1 is a complete Elliott wave impulse, a 5-wave structure, I'll expect a 3-step back pattern, probably a zigzag for minute wave 2, and I'll expect it to be relatively deep. I'll keep the chart on a semi-log scale, and at that stage, I'll be using the logarithmic function of the 0.618 Fibonacci ratio of the first wave as a target for the second wave to end. So we're not there yet, so I can give you no idea where the second wave could possibly end until I know the length of the first wave. So I know that someone's going to ask for that. I don't know. I can't calculate that for you yet, but I will when I can. Ethereum did not manage to break above resistance at 1,800 yesterday. It moved above it during the session, but it hasn't closed above resistance. Let's see if it can do so today. The current session so far has a bullish lower wick. Yesterday's upward session had a bearish upper wick. Yesterday's upward session completes with really, really strong volume. Again, this is a very bullish volume profile for Ethereum. This is really good to see for a bullish run. ADX still indicates there's an upward trend, and there's a very long way to go before this reaches as extreme as it can get for this market. RSI is just reaching into overbought territory. There's a long way to go before this is as deeply overbought as it can get when this market has a bullish run. And money flow is still neutral. So there's a long way to go before this upward trend reaches as extreme as it can get. If price can close above resistance at 1,800 today, then look out for next resistance, 1,880, and above that, 2020. Resistance there is actually pretty strong. For XRP, let's have a go at calculating some targets. For this one, it's a third wave within the first wave. The structure is a bit further away from being complete for XRP. So I've got a first wave beginning here. I'll label it minuet degree. We have subnuet 1, 2, subnuet 3 looks like an incomplete impulse. My target for it will be for it to reach 2.618, the length of subnuet 1. For other cryptocurrencies, I would not use such a small ratio. I'd be looking more like, for Bitcoin, for example, I'd be looking more like an extreme Fibonacci ratio, like 11.09. But when I look at XRP's price history, it doesn't tend to exhibit ratios that are that extreme. Bitcoin's more extreme. XRP appears to be less volatile. So this is a reasonable target for subnuet 3.5715. When minuet wave 1 is a complete 5-wave impulse for XRP, I'll expect a 3-step back pattern for minuet wave 2, which may not move beyond the start of 1, below 0.4743. Daily technicals for XRP. So far, this daily candlestick is red, but it does have a bullish long lower wick, and price is remaining above now very strong support at 55 cents. It was previously strong resistance. Price closed above that yesterday. Resistance now becomes support. I'll expect that's quite likely to hold. I expect price overall to continue on upward to next resistance at 62 cents. But that Elliott Wave target is actually not that high. It's quite close. Yesterday's session completes with really strong volume. That is excellent to see for a bullish case for XRP. ADX still indicates an upward trend, a very long way to go before this is extreme as it can get. RSI is not overbought for XRP, nor is money flow. There's a long way to go before this upward trend reaches extreme. This upward movement for XRP doesn't look like a parabolic growth curve yet. I expect this is in the very early stages. If it does turn into a parabolic growth curve, then it could easily slice through resistance at 62 cents. With a bullish volume profile and a very bullish look for ADX, there is an upward trend, and I would expect it to continue. That's it from me today with your update for these three. I hope everyone's having a lovely day.